Many thanks for staying on the show. The show is your political spectrum, reaching you live, from the stables of Spectrum Television here in the beautiful hills of Ibiakuran. One of the issues that has continued to trend in Nigeria is the issue that has to do with the Electoral Amendment Bill. And of course, it was transmitted to the President on the 19th of November. And of course, the law has it that within 30 days, the President should either give consent to it, to either sign or not to sign. And so far, the hype has been on, and it's gradually getting on the decline as the President is still yet to sign 2 days after the expiration of the 30 days period. Now, we'll be looking at that and all the issues involved, the implications of all that. And joining me in the studio in the conversation is a political affairs analyst, and he's no other than Supreme Okun. So good to have you back.
Thank you very much. So good to see you too.
Yeah, indeed. You have that smile there. Are you comfortable with the President's decision not to sign the bill?
I may not be comfortable with it, but that will not change what the President has decided to do.
Oh, well. Or do you feel is there any legal implication to that?
If there's any legal implication to that, I think with the interpretation that the law court will ascertain that. But for me, there's no legal implication, because if the President has the right to assent or to decline assent, and the bill now will go back to the National Assembly, which the National Assembly has the power to either override the President's assent by a certain percentage of the members voting for or against the bill. So I will plead with Nigerians and at the same time National Assembly to follow through the legislative process of getting a bill to become a law.
Okay, like you have rightly said that Nigerians are left with two options. Either this floor of the House will have to do a veto power on it and override the decision of the President, or they'll get into dialogue. Do you think the present National Assembly have the confidence or have the powers to override the President's decision?
For example, what you may look at, why did the President decline consent to the bill?
Okay.
Why? So if you begin to look at the reasons and then see, is the President's reason the same reason why the majority of the National Assembly members may not likely, vote in support of this bill? If they share the same reasons as they are, let's say the President is from the majority, the party that gains the majority seat in the National Assembly, and if the majority in the National Assembly are towing the line of the presidency, and then the bill is not likely to go that far.
Oh, well, you talked about dialogue. Now, one of the reasons that the President has withheld consent from what is going on is the issue that has to do with funding. Now, we have that the INEC, Independent National Electoral Commission, has already said the 2023 budget at 305 billion naira. Okay. Now, the President is of the opinion, from what is going around, that the money Nigeria will not be able to fund indirect primaries.
Now, first of all, I'm not going to argue with the President's speech and let me say proposal or estimation of high cost of running direct primaries. But what I will say, first of all, you should have given us an estimation of what that may likely cost us.
Okay.
You should let us know what that may likely cost us, because most of these things are not really as expensive as we think. For example, looking at 305 billion actual estimated cost for 2023 election, that is already high. Yeah. Then the President would have come out to give us, say, okay, if we are to run direct primaries, this is what it will cost. It will run into 1 trillion. Then we now see the demarcation and now see the value in terms of finances that the President's assent or declining of assent could actually be given a value. Now that he has declined assent, so that it means that we are saving 700 billion. Do you understand? And if we are to go ahead, Nigeria will have to spend whooping of additional 700 billion in addition to this to make it 1 trillion. But there's no such estimation. But what I will say is this: we should not use as high financial cost as an excuse, because what is worth doing well is what doing well. Okay. Now, if direct primaries will have the implication, we are talking about bad governance, and one of the indices of bad governance in Nigeria is leadership recruitment process, and the crux of leadership recruitment process lies with where the INEC, the umpire, and then what is the responsibility of INEC? using what the tools they have to conduct election, the electoral process. So the electoral bill is the major guarantor of the operation between the people that will conduct the election and the people that will vote. Okay. So now, if this bill is not given accents as to empower certain modalities, how then do we look forward to having the best of leadership recruitment process? And how then does Nigerian government hope to bring out the best? Because I tell you, the frustration that comes with bad leadership in Nigeria begins at the party level. Now, if you have party A, you have party B, and they all bring a wrong candidate, at the end of the year, you have 5 wrong candidates. You, as an electorate, what option do you have? But if we are allowed to participate right from the beginning, you understand, to decide who becomes the party A flag bearer, and those people that will swing to the other side of the ring will now support whosoever they think that deems fit, and it will now become a popular decision of the people. And then when we come to the main election, we will now, let's say, out of 5 candidates, for example, the 5 parties cannot totally, through the direct primaries, bring out an unqualified or incompetent candidates. But looking at this president now declining, this has been the hope and for greater Nigerians.
Okay, you say that this bill actually had potentials to change the parameters of
it may not change the totals, everything in totality, but it could be. It was one of the steps in the right direction.
One of the steps in the right direction.
Yes.
And what do you think is the way forward for Nigerians? Peradventure, this bill doesn't get the needed attention.
For example, now, have you been hearing this word that somebody is moving in a circle?
Okay.
Do you understand? We are moving in a circle. When we are ready to get things done, we will get it done. Okay. For example, one of the things we need to get done is the electoral process that determines who becomes the leader in a Nigerian political circle. And if this process is wrong, I tell you, the leadership is already wrong, and the development circle of the country is already wrong. The economic development is already wrong, because when the head is wrong, the entire body is messed up. You understand?
Okay.
So
now let's understand, this bill was not primarily for direct primaries. It had other components, of electronic transmission of results and all of that. Now, is it possible that the National Assembly can streamline some of this and maybe keep them separately without necessarily putting the direct primaries?
For example, now, you know that what made the bill, so popular was the direct primaries, and then the direct transmission of election results. And then the direct primaries was what gave the people hope that their voice, their votes will count, of who emerge right from at the party level, of who emerge as their party leader, the party flag bearer. Now that one of the basic components of this bill, it has not been, given the needed attention, we really have to look at it again. Do you understand? What are we going to transmit? The direct transmission of results. Do you understand? What are you going to translate? The dedication that has already been decided? Do you understand? So the foundation of the election that will be the results are supposed to be transmitted directly. Do you understand? It doesn't really have effect, because it's like you bringing somebody to come and talk, and then you're already given the script of what that person will say. It doesn't really get the needed result, because what we needed was an independent mind. So this direct transition of election results is good, but what will be what do we for the people to see was the decision, the popular decision of the people, which we were hoping to achieve that through direct political primaries in political parties. But since that has been, put aside, based on the fact that it will cause problems or trouble in the polity, and based on high financial implication, I will plead with Mr. President that this country, we have high hope on him. It should look at the bill again, and then make some necessary question to ascertain the actual financial cost. Because when you look at the party, that is the politics of the party, do you understand, it's all funded by federal government, it's all funded by the state government. Then why bother about the financial implication? I don't know if anybody will agree to me to that extent. The political parties don't come to state government to beg for money to run the election, and then they don't go to federal government. The party has a way of funding. But it so seems
that the direct primaries was going to be funded by the federal government.
funding all political parties to conduct the direct primaries.
At least a counterpart funding.
A counterpart funding does not mean total funding. Let them come out to see, okay, this way is supposed to be the counterpart funding, and it was the money was going to amount to the tune of 2 billion, 5 billion, and let the Nigerians now come to see that for sure that it is too exorbitant for us to like venture into direct primary.
We have seen some people from the major opposition party kick against this particular bill, saying they don't want it. Now, do you see any collaboration between them or having a dialogue between them and the
for example, now there's what we call elite theory, the governing elite and the non-governing elite. They all have the same goal. The goal is to keep the people controlled. Do you understand? Now, how do you keep the people controlled? You deny them, that opportunity of contributing to whatever decision is being taken. Now, when you give the people opportunity to contribute to the decision of whatever that is being taken in the society, they now resume the power. That is why democracy is called government of the people and for the people and by the people. Now they decide what happens. You understand? So now if you give them direct primaries, a lot of people that are in the political sector today, it will be to their own disadvantage. It means that people can get to the field and decided to like vote for a man that has the qualification, the competency and the capacity to lead, not a man that is popular among his people.
Okay. How do you consider the security aspect of this? Because having a direct primary definitely means putting people out there, like to queue up behind your candidate. Now, do you consider how safe is that, considering the
for example,